Nobody saw this coming. Papoose, the man who once stood by Remy Ma through prison, through fame, through heartbreak, has now shocked the entire hip-hop world with a jaw-dropping proposal. But not to Remy. This time, it's to his brand new girlfriend. And the moment news broke, all eyes turned to Remy Ma. Its emotional reaction has left fans stunned, divided, and questioning everything we thought we knew about one of rap's most loyal love stories. Was this a fresh start for Papoose, or the ultimate betrayal of Remy's trust? Buckle up, because this scandal is just beginning. The hip-hop world was left stunned when one of its most celebrated love stories suddenly twisted into something no one expected. Papoose, the Brooklyn rapper whose loyalty to Remy Ma became a legendary example of ride-or-die devotion, shocked everyone by getting down on one knee, not for Remy, but for his new girlfriend. The moment that photo of Papoose holding a ring hit the internet, fans froze. The man who waited years for Remy Ma while she served her prison sentence, the man who stood by her side through every storm, was now pledging his forever to someone else. And just as quickly as the proposal went viral, all eyes turned to Remy Ma. Her name shot to the top of trending lists within minutes. Because the world wanted to know, how would she react? Was she blindsided? Did she know about the relationship before it hit the blogs? And most importantly, was this Papoose moving on? Or was this the ultimate betrayal? To understand the shock, we have to rewind. Papoose and Remy weren't just a couple. They were hip-hop's definition of resilience. When Remy was sentenced to prison back in 2008, everyone assumed her career and her love life would both crumble. Most men would have walked away, unable or unwilling to wait for a partner facing nearly a decade behind bars. But not Papoose. He stayed. He visited her regularly, wrote letters, made calls, and even held down her family in her absence. Their bond was celebrated in interviews, documentaries, and countless fan tributes. Papoose became the symbol of loyalty, the man who loved Remy so deeply that not even prison walls could tear them apart. When Remy was finally released in 2014, fans cheered not just for her comeback in music, but for her reunion with Papoose. Their love story was highlighted on Love and Hip Hop, New York, where audiences saw the passion, the disagreements, the reconciliations, and most of all, the deep love they had for each other. Their wedding vows, their family moments, even their joint business ventures. All of it painted the picture of two people who had beaten the odds. That's why when news of Papoose's new proposal surfaced, it felt less like a celebrity headline and more like the shattering of a cultural fairy tale. On the day of the proposal, Papoose's new girlfriend, whose name the blogs are now blasting everywhere, was seen wiping tears from her face as Papoose slipped the diamond ring onto her finger. Videos from the event showed close friends clapping, cheering, and shouting congratulations. As Papoose smiled proudly, it should have been a moment of pure joy. But instead, it became the spark for one of the biggest controversies hip-hop has seen in years. Because while fans congratulated Papoose's new fiancé, many couldn't help but think of Remy Ma. Within hours, comments poured in across social media platforms. Wow. So loyalty got an expiration date. He waited for Remy all those years, and now this. I can't even imagine how Remy feels right now. This hurts me, and I'm not even Remy. Remy's emotional reaction only added fuel to the fire. While she didn't go live or give a full statement at first, she posted a heartbreaking message on her Instagram story. The text was simple but powerful. Some bonds are supposed to be unbreakable, until they're not. Just 12 words, but they cut like a knife. Fans immediately interpreted it as her response to Papoose's proposal. The comments exploded again. Remy is hurt. You can feel it in that post. Papoose really did her dirty. After everything, she deserves better. Maybe there's more to the story than we know. And that's where the speculation began. Did Papoose propose because his relationship with Remy had secretly ended months ago? Was there infidelity involved? Or was this simply two people growing apart after years of love and pressure in the public eye? Some insiders claim Remy and Papoose had been drifting for a while. Rumors of arguments, separate business moves, and different priorities had been swirling for months. Others insist this proposal came out of nowhere. A betrayal that blindsided Remy as much as it did the fans. But what nobody could deny was the emotional weight of Remy's reaction. In interviews over the years, she often described Papoose as her anchor, the person who believed in her when the world didn't. She called him her king, her protector, and her best friend. To see that same man kneel before another woman is a wound no words can fully describe. The blogs, of course, ran with the story. Headlines screamed betrayal, while fan pages dug through archives of Remy and Papoose's most romantic moments, captioning them with phrases like, "Love isn't real," and "This one hurts." Memes appeared within hours. Some sympathetic to Remy, others mocking the situation. And as cruel as it sounds, the public spectacle of heartbreak is part of what made this proposal go so viral. But Papoose didn't seem fazed by the backlash, at least not publicly. At the proposal event, he made a short speech, one that has since been replayed and analyzed endlessly. He said, "Life is about growth. It's about love, about moving forward. Sometimes chapters close and new chapters begin. I'm grateful for everyone who supported me, but I'm grateful for this beautiful woman by my side." That statement only deepened the confusion. Fans asked, was he saying his chapter with Remy had officially closed? If so, when? Why wasn't the world made aware? And how could a man once hailed as hip-hop's most loyal partner move on so quickly, so publicly, and so boldly? Meanwhile, Remy remained quiet after her initial post, leaving her fans to speculate and defend her. Some argued she deserved space, while others pressured her to tell her side before the narrative got out of hand. The silence became its own storyline, with people watching her every move, what she liked on social media, who she unfollowed, what songs she was listening to. Every detail was scrutinized for clues about her true feelings. But if part one of this saga is about the shock and heartbreak, then what comes next will reveal the messy layers beneath the headlines. Because Remy's silence isn't permanent. Papoose's new engagement is only just beginning. And the world is waiting for the moment when all the truths, emotions, and secrets finally come spilling out. The internet didn't calm down after Papoose's shocking proposal. It only got louder. Remy Ma's cryptic post had already tugged at the heartstrings of fans worldwide. But the silence that followed was even more powerful. People wanted answers. They wanted clarity. And when it comes to hip-hop culture, silence is often seen as guilt. Heartbreak, or both. Days passed. And finally, Remy Ma broke her silence, this time. Not with a cryptic story, but with her presence. She appeared on Instagram Live late one night, looking tired but composed, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. "I see y'all got a lot to say about me," she began, her eyes narrowing at the camera. "I've been through too much in life to let social media tell my story. So, let me be clear, I didn't lose nobody. People walk out of your life every day, and if they can leave, they were never yours to begin with." Those words hit hard. Fans flooded the comments. "She's hurt. I feel it. Talk your truth, Remy. Papoose did her dirty, man. Why is she talking like this? Ain't about him?" "We know it is." As Remy continued, her tone softened. I gave loyalty, and I don't regret that. But sometimes people change, and sometimes they don't love you the way you love them back. That's life. That's reality. It was raw, honest, and emotional. But it also left the door open for interpretation. Was she confirming that Papoose betrayed her? Or was she simply saying their love story had reached its natural end? Either way, fans took it as proof that she was hurting, and the sympathy poured in. Meanwhile, Papoose was standing firm. He knew the backlash was fierce, but he wasn't backing down. In a podcast interview days after the proposal, he defended his decision. "Listen, I ain't perfect. I never claimed to be. But I stood 10 toes down for years, and when it came time for me to choose happiness, I chose it. People gone be mad, they gone judge, but at the end of the day, it's my life. The interviewer pressed him on whether he and Remy had broken up officially before his proposal, but Papoose dodged. He smiled, leaned back, and said, "Sometimes the details ain't for the world to know. What matters is that I'm moving forward. Period. That vague response didn't sit well with fans. Many accused him of disrespecting the woman who made him a household name alongside her. Others defended him, saying it was his right to move on if he was no longer happy. The internet split into two camps. Team Remy. She held him down. She gave him her everything. This is betrayal. Imagine waiting 10 years for your man only for him to propose to someone else. Remy deserves all the love and respect, not this mess. Team Papoose. Y'all don't know what goes on behind closed doors. If he wasn't happy, he had the right to leave. People grow apart. That doesn't make him a villain. The new girlfriend, meanwhile, found herself in the middle of the storm. Social media detectives quickly uncovered her identity, her past relationships, and even her old tweets. Some congratulated her, calling her the woman who finally gave Papoose the love he deserved. Others attacked her, labeling her a homewrecker and accusing her of stealing Remy's man. Screenshots circulated of her liking shady comments, though it was unclear whether they were recent or old. Regardless, the narrative stuck. She was now the most hated woman in hip-hop gossip. But the story didn't end there. The entertainment blogs began dropping bombshells, claiming there had been cracks in Remy and Papoose's marriage long before the proposal. Whispers of heated arguments, missed appearances together, and rumors of infidelity on both sides suddenly resurfaced. One outlet even alleged that Remy had been spotted getting too close to another industry figure at a private event months earlier. Though nothing was ever confirmed, fans debated endlessly. Maybe Remy wasn't as innocent as we thought. Don't let them try to rewrite history. Papoose still wrong. Both of them been moving shady. That's why this blew up. Through it all, Remy stayed graceful. She didn't lash out, she didn't expose secrets, and she didn't bash Papoose's new relationship. Instead, she focused on her music, posting snippets of new tracks that carried subtle but cutting lyrics about heartbreak, betrayal, and moving on. Lines like "You held me down just to let me drown" and "Queens don't beg." "We Rebuild" had fans convinced her new music would address the breakup head-on. Meanwhile, Papoose doubled down on showing off his new relationship. Photos of him and his fiancée at dinners, family gatherings, and studio sessions started popping up everywhere. To some, it looked like he was flaunting his happiness. To others, it looked like a man overcompensating, trying too hard to prove he was in love again. The tension reached new heights when Remy and Papoose both appeared at the same industry event weeks later. Cameras captured every moment. Remy arriving in a stunning outfit, Papoose walking in with his fiancée on his arm. The energy in the room was thick with anticipation. Would there be a confrontation? Would Remy ignore him completely? Witnesses say Remy held her head high, mingled with other artists, and didn't even glance in Papoose's direction. Papoose, on the other hand, stayed close to his fiancée, smiling for cameras but noticeably tense. The footage went viral almost instantly, with fans praising Remy's composure. "That's how you do it," one fan wrote. "You let your glow speak for itself." As the saga unfolded, it became clear this wasn't just a breakup. It was the unraveling of a love story that had inspired millions. Papoose's proposal marked the end of an era, the death of hip-hop's most iconic ride-or-die couple. And while he was busy celebrating a new beginning, Remy was left to carry the emotional weight of the ending. But what's even more explosive is what came next. Because while Remy chose silence at first, insiders claim she was preparing to drop her own bombshell. One that could change the entire narrative and turn the spotlight back on Papoose by the time weeks had passed. The story had taken on a life of its own. The blogs, the podcasts, the YouTube channels, everyone was cashing in on the drama between Remy Ma and Papoose. Their names trended side by side every time either of them made a move. And while Papoose seemed comfortable with flaunting his new life, Remy was playing a longer, quieter game. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, Remy delivered her bombshell. It wasn't through a messy interview or an angry Instagram rant. It came in the form of her music. Out of the blue, she dropped a surprise single that instantly set the internet ablaze. The beat was heavy, The tone was raw, and the lyrics, though never mentioning. Names cut deep in ways nobody could ignore. She rapped about loyalty turned into leverage, about a man who swore forever but couldn't last through a season, and about giving her heart to someone who was too busy chasing validation. Fans immediately pieced it together. This wasn't just music. This was Remy's side of the story. Within hours, #RemySpeaks was trending. Listeners praised her for channeling her pain into art. "This is the Remy I needed," one fan wrote. Another added, "She didn't even have to say his name. We all know who it's about." And while Remy's song had the internet buzzing, it also put pressure back on Papoose. Suddenly, he wasn't just the man who moved on. He was the man who might have broken the heart of the woman who once held him down the hardest. His new relationship, once a source of pride, became a target of mockery. Memes circulated of him fumbling the bag by letting Remy go. Still, Papoose didn't fold. He responded with a series of posts, doubling down on his happiness. One photo showed him and his fiancée holding hands with the caption, "Peace over pain. Love over lies." It was short but deliberate. Bosa and fans immediately saw it as a clapback to Remy's lyrics. But here's the twist. Remy didn't engage. No subtweets. No indirect captions. No social media drama. Instead, she booked appearances. She performed the new track live on stage with tears in her eyes and fire in her delivery. And the crowd went wild. People in the audience shouted, "We love you, Remy," while others booed at the mere mention of Papoose's name. For many, this moment was a turning point. Remy wasn't just a victim in the story anymore. She was reclaiming her narrative. She showed strength, resilience, and artistry. And she reminded everyone that, long before she was half of a hip-hop power couple, she was a force of her own. But let's not forget, the blogs never sleep. Just when it seemed like Remy was stepping into a new chapter, gossip pages dropped another shocking claim that Papoose's new fiancée was already pregnant. If true, that meant the relationship hadn't just moved fast, it had been overlapping with his marriage to Remy. Suddenly, all the whispers about betrayal felt louder. Fans demanded answers. Was this why Papoose rushed into a proposal? Was this why he avoided answering questions directly? The alleged pregnancy split the internet all over again. Some said it proved Papoose had been hiding something from the start. Others argued it was all just rumor meant to tear him down. But one thing was clear. The drama wasn't slowing down anytime soon. Through it all, Remy's dignity remained unshaken. She posted motivational quotes, photos of her working in the studio, and glimpses of her life with her children. Every post radiated the message, "I may be hurt, but I'm not broken." That strength only won her more support. Fans started a viral trend, flooding social media with the hashtag #StandWithRemy. They shared clips of her music, old interviews of her praising loyalty, and messages celebrating her resilience. For many, she became a symbol of surviving betrayal and heartbreak with grace. And as Remy's star rose again, Papoose found himself in a complicated position. He had his fiancée, he had his new life, but he also had a tarnished public image. No matter how much he insisted he was happy, people questioned whether he had lost something greater than he gained. But here's where the story gets even more intense. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that industry executives were reaching out to Remy for collaborations, endorsement deals, and projects that could elevate her career once again. Pain was fueling her art, and the world wanted more. Meanwhile, Papoose was being quietly iced out of certain events, not officially banned. But noticeably absent, the couple who had once been hip-hop's gold standard of loyalty were now on opposite paths. One rising from heartbreak with renewed power. The other fighting to justify his choices while the public scrutinized every move. And while fans continue to argue, one truth remains undeniable. The proposal that was meant to symbolize new beginnings ended up opening old wounds, sparking debates, and rewriting the legacy of two people who once represented ride or die love. Was Papoose wrong for moving on so quickly? Or was he simply choosing his happiness? Was Remy truly blindsided, or had she seen this coming all along? Those questions may never get clear answers, but what's certain is this: in the world of hip-hop, love stories don't just end quietly. They end with explosions, with headlines, with verses that cut deeper than any interview could. And Remy Ma and Papoose have given us one of the most unforgettable stories of all. As the dust settles, fans are left with a final thought. Sometimes the end of one chapter is the beginning of a legend. Remy's pain has already become her power, and Papoose's choice may forever define his legacy, and whether you side with Team Remy or Team Papoose. One thing's for sure: this drama has changed hip-hop history forever. This story proves that love, loyalty, and betrayal can collide in ways none of us ever expect. Papoose's proposal to his new girlfriend has completely shifted the narrative. But Remy Ma's emotional response reminded the world of her strength, her artistry, and her resilience. Fans are divided. Some say Papoose had every right to move on, while others believe he betrayed the very woman who once stood by him through her darkest days. But the real question is, what do you think? Was this proposal an act of love, or a public display of disrespect? Did Remy Ma deserve better, or was this simply two people growing apart after years of carrying the weight of fame, loyalty, and personal struggles? We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. Are you riding with Team Remy or Team Papoose? And what do you think this means for their futures in music, love, and legacy? If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss the latest updates. This story isn't over, and you'll want to be here for every twist.